everybody, welcome back to Epicurean Expeditionist. I know it has been a while, but there's been a lot of things going on. So, let's get back down to doing some baking today. I ran across in my Facebook memories a few years back, there was this layered apple cake that went a little on the viral side. And since I've got a family gathering this afternoon to be at, I decided, yeah, that sounds good. I think I'll make it. It's that time of year here in New York State where the apples are starting to come out. So let's do something apple, and well, it's also the end of summer, so kind of fallish. So let's drop down. We'll get started on this, and you guys will get all the information as we go. You can follow along step by step and make your own layered apple cake. So let's flip this camera around and get to it. Okay, so getting started, I have to bring you guys over a little bit. I already got my 4 tablespoons of butter in the mixing bowl. There we go. Sit back up so you can see again. Okay, to that, I'm going to add 3 eggs. Now, you guys can you can mix by hand, use a powered hand mixer. I happen to have access to the KitchenMaid, so that's what I'm using today. There we go, there's our 3 eggs. Let me rinse my fingers off real quick. There we go. Okay, so we've got our butter, butter, 3 eggs. We're going to add to that a 1/2 cup of milk. Let's see, we're going to go 1/2 cup. Set that on the counter. Okay. 1/2 cup of milk. Set that to the side. Let's see, and I need 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2, there's our sugar. Put that over here out of the way. And a tablespoon of honey. Do yourself a favor, find some local honey when you do this. You'll have a much better experience with it. That is my personal opinion. There we go. It's honey, it's natural. Thank you. There we go. And you want to use the $1 million spatula to make sure you get it all out. The reason we call this a $1 million spatula is because when you start scraping out the remnants in those containers, even things like mayonnaise and such, you realize just how much you can actually waste by not doing that. So that's why in the restaurant business we call this a $1 million spatula. Okay, thank you. Okay, and I believe that is what we're adding to start with. Yes. So I'm going to put my whisking attachment on here. Bring this down, lock it, start on low speed. Bring it up a little bit. Gently increase the speed. You want to go for a minute or 2 until it's all nicely combined. I'm currently on speed 4, I think. And you will want to let your butter warm up and soften. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay. There we go. Okay, to this, I am then going to add 1/2 cup of flour and 1 1/2 tablespoons of baking powder. So let's start with the baking powder. I have a 1/2 teaspoon measure here, so we're going to do 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. And 1/2 cup of flour. Oops, I forgot to get out the 1/2 cup measure. Bread cups. Let's see, 1 cup 1/2 cup. There we go. Tried to have everything prepared ahead of time and failed miserably. So, let me get the 1/2 cup of flour. Now, I will comment that in this recipe I am using gluten-free flour for dietary restrictions at the event we're going to be going to. And okay, now do not pack your flour down. Just want to kind of level it out. There we go. Basically scraping across the top to the back of the knife. 1/2 cup of flour in. Flour all over my fingers. Flour gets everywhere, be warned. Put that back out of the way. And get this going again after I lock it. Now anytime you put in something like flour, you're going to want to start off slow till it starts to incorporate. Otherwise, you're going to have a flour explosion all over your kitchen. I have done this before. It is not fun to clean up. There we go. Okay, now, I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to go in, scrape down the sides. We're going to make sure everything's getting combined in here. Okay, back down, locked. There we go, high speed. Do not put your fingers in there, you will lose them. That is my safety announcement for today. Okay, we're going to let that mix for a minute and we'll be back to get on to the next step. Okay, so that's all blended together. Now, the original video did not give any specifications as to the size of the pan to put it in and such, so I am using a 1-quart loaf pan. It looks to be about the same size as what they use. I'm going to be putting some butter on a paper towel and preparing this by basically buttering the inside of the loaf pan. What that's going to do is allow our layered apple cake to slip out when it's done and be all sorts of yummy for everybody. There we go. You see I'm just getting some butter on the paper towel and rubbing it around the sides. The nice thing about using a clear one like this, it's real easy to tell when it's, got everything covered. There we go. And yes, I like to use real butter. Okay, now that that is prepared, I'm going to move my butter over, put that there. Now the recipe in the video calls for 4 large apples. It does not specify what kind of apples. If, like me, you are from an area where there's apple industry, and I don't mean the phones and computers, then you'll understand that there are an infinite variety of apples to play with. And I chose Gala apples for today because they're a little bit on the sweeter side, and we're going to enjoy that. Now, I grabbed a whole bag. How many this is going to take, I don't know, but we'll find out, and I will let you guys know. So I've got 3 to start with. And you want to core and peel the apples. Nice little apple core here. You just kind of go right down into it. Ugh. And bam, apple is cored. I don't know. Well, I'll come out with the next one, I guess. Okay, give me 1 second to get that cleared out and we'll get right back to it. Okay, never fails to get halfway through and realize you forgot to get something out. So what I'm going to do is now that I've cored it, I'm going to slice it in half. Oop, I got a little bit left in here, but I can deal with that in a minute. Take my peeler and we're going to peel our apple, which I'm sure y'all understand what peeling an apple is. rather peel potatoes, but hey, who's going to say? Okay, let me get these cut and peeled and we'll be right back. Okay, I've got my first apple peeled and halved, and what we're going to do is we're going to do thin slices. Do not think you'll go as fast as I do. I have a lot more practice with this. It's okay to take this slow. And when you get to the end, be very careful, especially if you have a sharp knife. You don't want to get red in your apples. That's the whole point to peeling them, so you don't have the red in there. Okay. So we've got our first apple cut. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our loaf pan here and we're going to start layering them in. Now these being a little bit smaller than what they apparently used in the video, I'm going to have to play with the layering a little bit so that I can make sure the entire pan is full. But you just want to lay them in. I'm going to lay a few on the side here sideways to kind of make sure we get the coverage. And as I go up, I'm going to alternate so that, let me bring you guys in to see. This was my first layer. I'm going to start my second layer over here so I can have this extra coverage alternates on each level. Get the tripod stable here. Okay, so let me get these in. So remember, when you go out to eat and you have an amazing dessert at a restaurant, thank the chef that baked it for you. There's a lot of work that goes into these. Okay, and now my third layer. And I might save the smaller pieces for the edges or for any filling I feel is needed. Put the side here. Now once this is all filled with apples, we will go through and be pouring the mixture into it, so there will be something filling that up. There we go. Okay, so that's one apple done and in. I am going to stop recording for a few minutes so I can get the rest of this done so I don't bore you all to tears with me cutting and peeling apples and putting them in there. Once I get that done, we'll be right back. Okay, so my apples are all peeled, cut, and cord peeled and cut. This took 5 of the Gala apples, about this size. Okay, so here's our half cup measure compared to the apple. So that gives you an idea of the size. So now, we've got everything layered in here. I leveled out some of the spots where it kind of bowed down a little bit. So I got a nice level top there. We're going to take our mixture and gently, so we don't splash it all over, pour it in. Nice and easy, no rush. Oh, and what I forgot to mention earlier, but will be in the text earlier in the video, is make sure you preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I will put all of the conversions in the text on the video, so anybody who's not working with ancient, historic, irrelevant measuring techniques can do this as well. I just hadn't gotten around to converting this over yet. There we go. There we go. Okay. It all in? Okay, let me get this turned around. We'll pop it in the oven and go from there. Okay, so in this oven, I'm using the bottom oven for baking. There we go. And this calls for 40 to 45 minutes. I am going to start with 30 just because ovens can vary as well as your altitude and other things like that. So, Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
And we'll be back in 30 minutes to see where we're at. Okay, guys, 30 minutes in. We're looking pretty good. Not quite yet. It needs a little bit more, so I'm going to give it about another 5 minutes and check it, and we'll go from there. Okay, I have tested it. The tester's coming out clean. Turn the oven off. There we go. Turn the oven off, and I'm going to bring this out. And there we are. Nice and brown on the top. I'm going to set that to the side and let it cool down. Okay. Now I will tell you, this did do about 43 minutes total. There is still some liquid in there, so we're going to see how that settles out. And after the get together today, I'll pop back in here and give you my closing thoughts. Okay, everybody, so let's wrap this up. I didn't get any footage of us tearing into it because it was a family get together, and I just don't share that part of it. That type of stuff. So I will say this, it was excellent. My final thoughts on the layered apple cake are as follows. First of all, I would probably bake it next time at 350 to 375 and still let it stretch to the 45 to an hour-ish. I would have to test that, I'll be honest with you. Reasons why. The bottom was just this side of heading towards burnt, but not bad. It was still damn tasty. We all enjoyed it. The batter didn't really firm up as much as I would have liked it to, and I would definitely add some cinnamon in the next one. So, I would say ballparking tablespoon of cinnamon. Maybe a half to a full tablespoon of cinnamon. But I'll have to update this next time I do it, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Like I said, considering this recipe came from a video with no actual recipe to it, and I basically just copied down what was on the screen, overall, it wasn't bad, though. Everybody enjoyed it. Like I said, I think it would add some cinnamon, bake at a lower temperature for a longer time. And I think that would be an absolute solid recipe. But I will try it again. We're coming into apple season here, so I'll have plenty of apples to play with. Also, the type of apple you choose can have an effect. Well, depending on the moisture level of the apple, that can also have something to do with it. But remember, food is life. Life is good. Let's eat some more, because that was still dang tasty, and we all enjoy it. I will update you guys when I make it again. But until then, be good to one another. Try some good food with some new people and see what happens. You'll never know where the world's going to take you. Live at large, achieve your goals, and just be awesome. Be good to one another, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.